guys, if you've been here this month, then you know what's up. You know what we've been talking about. We've been talking about this series called Never Give Up. If you were here last week, my good friend Crispy was here, and he was teaching you guys about, does anybody remember what you guys were learning about last week? Anybody? Anybody? Resilience. Never give up on God. Boom. Good job, Jake. Jake listened. Never give up on God, right? He was telling us all about that and how we kind of learn these different character traits of God. He did this really cool thing where he wrote them all down on the whiteboard, or one of you guys wrote them down actually. But it was really cool. So if you missed it, then you could watch it on YouTube, but it's really great. And the week before that, Ava kicked us off, teaching us all about what resilience is. And tonight, we are wrapping that series up. To remind you, if you're like, what is resilience? Because that's a big, weird word, and I don't know very many big words. So we're going to put the definition up so you can be reminded. Resilience is our ability to bounce back and grow stronger after we have struggled. So when something comes up in life that's a struggle, whether that is, I have to get from this side of the stage to that side of the stage, that's kind of a struggle for me sometimes. Whatever it is, maybe it's a really hard test, maybe it's something crazy going on in your life, family struggles, whatever it is, resilience is your ability to bounce back and grow stronger after you've struggled. So that's what we've been learning about all series. And I've got a question for you guys today before we get more into resilience, okay? How many of you guys think that almost everything in your life is better when your best friends are there with you? Raise your hand if you think that things are better when your best friends are there. Okay, most of us. And if they're not, then you probably need some new best friends because they might be not very cool, because best friends are awesome, right? Everything is better when you have your friends there with you. There's so many things are better with more people, right? And not just anybody, but people you care about, people you love, right? Have you guys ever seen those dudes who are like the one-man bands, and they've got like the big drum on their back, and they've got the little harmonica, and they've got like a guitar, and they're like dancing around trying to do this whole band by themselves? They're kind of like goofy. Have you seen this? Somebody nod their head if you've seen, you know what I'm talking about? One-man band? Yeah, okay, you know what I'm talking about. So those dudes, they're cool, I guess, but they're not nearly as cool as like if you go to a concert and see like a whole band, right? Like there's a reason that one of them is performing on the street for like 50 cents and that one of them is selling out like the Nuggets arena for like thousands of dollars, right? A full band is way cooler than just one man by himself because he doesn't have any friends with him to make his music more awesome. So that's why we need friends, right? And even in like simple things in life, right? Think about anything you like to do. I bet it's more fun with your friends, right? And it's easier to do things when you have more people with you, right? If you play basketball or soccer or what other sports do you guys play? Volleyball, baseball, all of these sports, wrestling. Okay, wrestling maybe not actually. That one doesn't quite work as well. But all these other ones, you need the team, right? If you go out on a baseball field and you are the only one out there, it's you're pitching the ball and trying to catch it in the outfield, you are not going to have very much success. It's not going to go well, right? Lots of things are like this. And I think about my own life, all my favorite hobbies, all the things I like to do are so much better when my friends are there, right? I love to go rock climbing. It's fun thing about rock climbing, when I'm going rock climbing, I'm on the wall or whatever, there's a rope tied to me, right? It's tied to me, and then on the other end of that rope, I need somebody to be holding that side of the rope, because otherwise, when I fall, and I fall often because I'm not the most coordinated person in the world, when I fall, if nobody's holding the other end of the rope, I would fall and go splat, and that would not be good. But since someone is holding the other end of the rope, when I fall, they catch me, and I don't die, and it's wonderful, and I get to keep climbing, right? So much better when you have people with you, right? Even I think about like, not even just like the fun things in life, but the like less fun things. Like, how many of you guys have to do chores? Do any of you have to do chores? Yeah. Okay, chores are kind of the worst, right? It's like, why do I have to clean the toilet or pull the weeds or whatever? Oh, you love chores? Somebody said, okay, interesting. Well, when I was growing up, what my mom did, I have two older sisters, and when we were growing up, we would have these like chore cards, and they'd be like these little like note cards, and they would have whatever like mop the kitchen or clean the toilet, whatever. There'd be a bunch of them. And each week, there was 3 of us, so she would set out like 9 chores, and we were supposed to do all these chores by the end of the week. And if we didn't, then we got in trouble and grounded, and it wasn't good. So we were supposed to do all these chores, and over time, me and my sisters found that the best way to do it was just for all 3 of us to just be like, all right, let's just take like 30 minutes and do them all together. And we'd get them done way faster, because if I went out to the backyard and I had to pull all the weeds by myself, it would take me like 4 hours, because I would just get distracted by like a rock or something and it wouldn't go well. But if my sisters were there too, we could pull all the weeds way faster and we would get done with it. And then we could go back to enjoying our lives and doing fun things and not just doing chores, right? You need people. That's the idea, right? You need people to do things. When you're doing things on your own, a lot of times it ends in not going so well, right? It's not a good time. If I tried to go play basketball and I was playing, right, I was already really bad at basketball when I was in middle school. And you guys know I was playing knockout with some of you earlier, didn't do too well. I only made like one shot. It was bad. But if it was just me out there playing against 5 other dudes, I would get destroyed, right? Instead of scoring like 2 points, I would score 0, and it would be horrible, and I would probably hate it, and I'd probably never play basketball again. But that's why we have a team, right? That's why we want people around us. And I know that there are some things that can be done alone, right? There are some things that we can do alone, maybe like wrestling. That's more of like a solo sport, or golf or something. But a lot of things in life, the majority of things, are things that we want to have people. And we know this. We know that we don't want to go through life alone. We know that whether it's playing fun games or doing things with our friends or just hanging out or even just having a hard day, we know we don't want to be alone when we're doing these things. But the reality is a lot of us are going through life alone, right? There's like a a big amount of people who would say they're lonely, right? If you ever like know anything about like middle schoolers and high schoolers, tons of them say when they fill out surveys that they are lonely, right? I want everybody in the room to stand up for a second. Everybody just stand up right where you are. Just stand up, okay? And then I need, if you're sitting over or standing over here, all the way from you over, you guys sit down, okay? Okay? There's like roughly 100 people in this room, okay? Actually, I need probably maybe like you over to sit down too, ish. Okay, there's roughly 100 people in this room right now, and what we know from the studies is that 3 out of every 5 people say they're lonely. That's about 60%. So if there's like 100 people in the room, there's about 60 of you still standing. That would mean, now I'm not saying that you guys, this is true of you specifically, but that would mean all of these people in this room would say they're lonely, right? And only this side would say, yeah, I'm not lonely. I have friends. I have people. That's a lot of lonely people. Okay, everybody can go ahead and have a seat. Thank you for helping out. That's a lot of people, right? 3 out of 5. Think about it. If you can think of 5 people, which I know you all can, there's a decent chance that 3 of them would say they're lonely. That's sad, right? That's a lot of people. And to think about all the hard things that happen in life, and those people are going through them alone. That's sad. And I know you're thinking, you're like, well, yeah, it is sad. That's me. And that's how a lot of us feel, right? And even if we'd say we have friends, we still feel like we're lonely. We're going through things alone. We have these hard days and we feel like we have to face them by ourselves. And you see, this lonely world we live in, we believe that we have to do it all on our own. We believe for some reason that we think that it makes us better or cooler if we can deal with all of our problems on our own, right? Because what happens when things get tough is we do a couple things. We'll pull away, right? We'll pull away from other people. When things are getting hard in life, when you're getting sad, when you're struggling with anxiety or depression, or maybe your parents are going through a divorce, or maybe you're having a hard time at school, or you're getting bullied, and you have something coming up, instead of talking to your friends about it, you'll pull away. You'll kind of distance yourself from them. You'll step aside and you'll say, I'm just going to figure this out on my own, right? You'll tell people that you'll hold them back from people. Maybe one of your friends notices that something's wrong, and they'll say, hey, how are you doing? What's wrong? What's going on? And you say, oh, I'm good. I'm fine. And then you'll say, oh, how are you really doing? And you still say, oh, I'm fine. Like, that is something I hear so often. People just hold back how they're actually doing. They don't want to share. They don't want to let someone in. They're hiding the stuff that's going on. We don't open up to our small groups or to our parents or to our friends about what's going on in our minds, in our hearts. We don't do it. We think we have to do it all by ourselves. We think we have to get through everything in life on our own, and that's just not true. But it's this belief we seem to have in our culture. It's something that we've seemed to think that, oh, I'm just better off if I handle it on my own, but it's not true. And remember what Ava was teaching us about a couple weeks ago. Resilience, right? It's our ability to bounce back and grow stronger, right? It's like a tennis ball, right? When you bounce it, it comes back, right? Very cool, very cool. It comes back and it keeps going, right? Because resilience isn't just like a one-time thing. It's not like it bounces once and then the next time I drop it, it still bounces, right? It keeps going, it keeps working on it. That's kind of how resilience is. It's not something that's a one-time thing where it's like, oh, got through that one thing, resilience, check, done with that forever. It's something you have to work at, something you have to build up over time. It takes a while, right? It's like if you play a sport or an instrument, or if you want to improve at something at all in life, it takes time. It's not like you're just going to go practice basketball once and then you're in the NBA or something. That's not how it works. It takes time. You have to build up these skills of resilience, and now is a great time for you to start building them up. And the cool thing about building skills of resilience is that it's not something we have to do alone. It's something that, just like all those other things I was talking about, is actually better done with people, right? What if building resilience is one of the things that's better with other people in our lives? And we see this lots of places. We can see this in lots of stories from lots of people. I bet every leader in the room could get up here and tell you about a time where a friend helped them get through a hard time, right? I guarantee everyone could tell you a story about that. But we see it also in the Bible, right? We see in the Bible that resilience is something that we need friends for. We see that we need friendship and we need people. And a couple weeks ago, Ava told you about this guy named Paul. Everybody say Paul. That was not very good. Let's try it again. Everybody say Paul. Paul, there we go. Okay, she told you all about Paul, and she told you about how he went through all these crazy things, and he had this shipwreck, and he was in prison, and he was beaten, and he basically went through the ringer, right? He went through lots of hard things in his life, and he was really adamant about, you know what, I'm going to forget the past, I'm going to press on towards Jesus, right? I'm going to press on and keep going. And Paul, he's a pretty cool guy. And, you know, he didn't actually do all that stuff alone. He had a lot of people with him, a lot of friends. And this one time, he was setting out on his trip, and he had his buddies Barnabas, Silas, and Mark, okay? Some kind of goofy names. Barnabas, that's a funny name. Sorry if you're named Barnabas, but I think it's a funny name. Barnabas, Silas, and Mark, okay? They were going to set out on this big trip, and then what happened was Mark was one of his friends, and Mark decided not to show up. He was like, yeah, I'm actually not going to make it on this one. Like, they were going to go out and spread the gospel and do cool things. And Mark was like, something came up. We don't really know what came up, but Mark was like, I can't make it, sorry. And Paul was like, dude, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You're just going to bail? Like, imagine how you feel when you are supposed to go hang out with your friends and then one of them bails. Like, you're kind of upset. You're kind of frustrated, annoyed. That's how Paul was feeling. He was like, this is just kind of stupid. Mark's the worst. Hate that guy. Don't want to see him anytime soon. And Mark was like, you know what? Let's just go without him. We don't need him. Let's go. And then Barnabas, with Paul's other friend, was like, Mark's actually my cousin, and I really like that guy, and I think we should hang out with him, and I think that we should wait for him to be ready to go. And he was like defending him. And so then Barnabas and Paul get into this big fight, right? They've got some beef. They're clashing about it. They don't get along, right? And so what happens is Paul takes his buddy Silas, and he goes this way, and Barnabas takes Mark, and he goes this way. And they go off in their separate ways, and they're both still doing great things, but Paul is clearly not happy with them. He doesn't want to be their friends right now. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to go do my own thing. We're going to go our separate ways. And they do a lot of awesome things. And some time passes. And then Paul finds himself in prison, right? This is kind of where Ava was telling you guys about it a couple of weeks ago. Paul's in prison, and he's writing a bunch of letters, because what else are you going to do? You're just sitting in prison, you know, you just write and read. They don't have TikTok, so you couldn't just sit there and scroll or anything. So he's just writing some letters. And he writes his letter to his friend named Timothy. Okay, everybody say Timothy. Or you could say Timmy. Timmy would be cool too. So Timothy, he writes his letter to him, and what he says in it is kind of cool. He says a lot of things to Timothy, and we can spend a lot of time talking about what he tells Timothy. But one of the things, this one little line that often gets overlooked in his letter to Timothy, we're going to read it together, okay? This is Paul talking to Timothy, and he's just giving him some directions, and he says, get Mark and bring him with you, because he is helpful to me in my ministry. And by his ministry, he just means him going around and sharing Jesus with other people. So he says, look, get Mark. And we're like, wait a minute, Paul. This is the same Mark that you were like, screw this guy, we're leaving. We don't need to talk to him. I don't like that guy anymore. He's not my friend anymore. He bailed on me. This is the same guy. And he's like, wait, this is a couple of years later. And he's like, oh, wait, actually, maybe Mark was kind of helpful. Maybe I do kind of want Mark in my life. Maybe life is easier. Maybe my ministry is easier when I have these friends around with me, right? And I think this so often gets overlooked, right? It so often gets overlooked, this verse in particular, right? Because this was the guy that Paul refused to have with him earlier, and now he says, I need him here. He recognizes that he needs other people to help him grow. He needs someone else to help him. So the truth that I want you guys to remember tonight, you know, we've been talking about this idea of resilience and not giving up. This is what I want you to remember, just 5 words, okay? Never give up on others. No. Is it in there? Well, it's not there, but don't worry. Trust me. Never give up on others, okay? Never give up on others. That is what I want you to remember, okay? I want you to turn to your neighbor, and I'm going to say, never give up, and then you're going to scream others in their face, okay? Ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Never give up. I forgot to say on. That's my bad. Never give up on others. That's wonderful. Good streaming. Okay, so no matter what we've been taught, no matter what we've been taught through experience, no matter what kind of like fight we might have had with a friend, no matter what they might have done something bad one time, you know what? We all make mistakes. We all upset our friends from time to time. We have to have grace for them. Never give up on others because we need others, right? And I want to recognize that there are circumstances where that might not be appropriate, where maybe there is a time where you're like, I need to separate from this person. Maybe it's for your own safety or health, or there's somebody that's like threatening that or something, and maybe you do need to put a boundary in place and say, I'm going to step away from that person. But for the most part, 90% of the time, never give up on others, because usually it's just something little that comes up. Just something like Mark was running late and that ruined their relationship for a couple of years. But never give up on others. Have grace for them because we need people. Just because one person hurts you one time or let you down, that doesn't mean that everyone will. Because I see that happen so often. They're like, oh yeah, I had friends, but then my one friend like stabbed me in the back and now I don't want to have any friends and I'm just going to be lonely. Don't do that, okay? That's not a good idea, because just because one person let you down, that doesn't mean everyone will. We need other people, so never give up on others. We need other people to help us grow. And there's a couple reasons I want to give you that we need other people to help us grow as we wrap up. Okay, the first one is that other people help us stay positive. Other people are going to help you stay positive, because sometimes when we are in the middle of a really hard situation, it can be really hard to be positive, right? You might be having some big struggles going on, but maybe a friend can come along and say, hey, like, look at that. Like, there's a squirrel over there, and squirrels are awesome. And that could be a small little thing that might make you laugh and smile for that day. They can help you stay positive. They can remind you that, hey, even though we're going through this, like, we still can have some fun. We can still do this. They can make a joke. They can make you smile. Whatever it is, they help you stay positive. Number two, they're going to provide the support you need, right? We need support when we're going through hard things. When you're going through a hard thing and you're in it alone, that's the worst. There's nothing worse than going through something hard by yourself, feeling lonely in it, feeling isolated. When you're going through a hard thing, you need the support of people around you, whether that's your family or your friends or your leaders here, whatever it is, whoever it is, you need the support around you. So this is why we need to never give up on others, because we need them, right? They help us stay positive and they provide support for us. And that means we can provide support for others as well. So as we're kind of wrapping up here, we're going to get into another song of worship here in a minute. But there's been a couple questions that we kind of been talking about a few times throughout this series. And I want you to think about these questions as we're going to go into worship here in a few minutes. So number one is, what is happening? I don't remember if these will be on the screen, so just listen. Okay, what is happening? What's going on in your life? Okay, do you feel lonely? Are you feeling like one of those 3 out of 5 people who say they're lonely? What's going on, right? What are you struggling with? What is going on in your life where you're like, this is a tough situation and I need some resilience in this? What is happening, right? And then number 2, this is what we talked a lot about last week. Okay, what's true no matter what? Okay, what is true no matter what? What are the truths that we know, right? We know that we need to never give up on God. That's what we talked about last week. We know that God is not changing, that God is still there even when we're going through the hard things. And today we talked about, we know that we need other people. We know that no matter what you're going through, you need other people in that with you as well. Okay, we need people who love and care about us in our lives all the time. And number 3, what can you do? Okay, what can you do? Maybe you're feeling like someone who's lonely and you feel like, I know that I need people, but I feel like I don't have any, right? Well, that might be a time, it might be an opportunity to get to work and to make some friends that you can rely on, right? It might be a little bit awkward at first, okay? It's always kind of awkward to ask someone for help. Anytime you're ever having to ask for help, whether it's in math class or asking a friend if you can just talk to them about what's going on in your life, it's a little bit awkward at first, a little bit uncomfortable. But I promise if you just push through that 30 seconds of it being awkward and just start talking to them, it's going to be helpful, because sometimes we have to be the one to reach out and say, hey, I need some help. And it's okay to ask for help, right? We can take a step towards resilience by asking someone, hey, I know that I need to be resilient. I know that I need to get through this tough thing, but I'm having a hard time doing it by myself. Would you help me, right? Maybe that can be to a parent, right? You can say that to a parent. You could say that to a friend at school. You could say that to one of your small group leaders or any of the adults in this room, to a trusted friend, whoever it is. Just reach out and say, hey, I need some help being resilient in these areas. Share what you're going through. Share what's going on that you need help with. And maybe they might have a new perspective on it. They might have some advice. They might have some experience with that, and maybe they can help you. And even if they don't have all the answers, they can at least support you in that, and they can at least love on you and be there for you through what you're going through, right? Because resilience is something we all need to build. It's something we all want to build in our lives, but it's hard to do by ourselves. So we need other people. So never give up on finding other people to help you be more resilient. So we're going to pray, and then we'll get into some worship. And I want you to just think about that. Yeah, is there anything or anyone that maybe you need to go talk to? Maybe you need to share something. Maybe you need to do, what can you do now, right? Maybe you can take that step tonight and go and talk to someone and say, hey, I need help in this area. Maybe it's pulling a leader aside when we're done praying and just asking them to help talk to you about something. Whatever you might be struggling with, ask for help because we need other people. Let's pray together. Dear Lord, I want to thank you for this night. I want to thank you for just the chance to come here and worship you. Thank you for everybody in the room. I thank you that you are a God that we never should give up on because you never give up on us. I thank you that you have wired us to have friends and to want to be around people, and that you don't want us to be lonely. You want us to have friends and have community around us and people who can support us through these things and help us, because resilience is hard, and you knew it was going to be a hard thing for us, so you provided people to help us. God, I pray that we can just all worship you together, and everybody in here would have a great rest of their week. And we pray all these things, and everybody said,
We forgot the pre-chorus. That's what we forgot. I know you're here, working in the waiting, teaching
couple of things before we head out. We say this every week, but it's because we mean it deeply. You are loved and prayed for, and you are accepted here at Garage just as you are. We hope you guys have a great night. And remember, next Wednesday, Garage Halloween, bring your friends, 6 to 8, costume contest, pizza, ice cream, candy, all of the most amazing things in the world. We will see you next week, 6 o'clock. Bring a friend. Have a great night. Peace out.